Joins us every Monday at 12:30. He led the 1994 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in fumble recoveries, a stat that he just found out this time yesterday. How does it feel, Beck, to know that you are a single season leader of a category for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I feel completed, to be honest with you, Jay. I thought, my career was all for naught. And if the fact that I led an NFL team in something 1 year, I could die now. I think I'm going to put that on my headstone.
I love that. I love that. I was thinking about this. I was going to have this conversation. I was just going to talk about it on the show, but I figured let's have it with you. Who are the three top Buccaneers right now on the team?
Three top Buccaneers.
If I say who are the three best players on the Bucs right now? I think you and I agree that Tristan Wirfs is probably number one.
Let's not debate that.
That's not debate. That's what I said. So who's 2 and 3? That's the question.
You're talking about longevity. You're talking about career. You're
just talking about right.
I'm
not accolades. Not accolades. We're not talking about Mike Evans and Levante, how long they played, Ring of Honor. I'm talking about right now, at this very moment. Who are the top 3 players on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
We're gonna go with Baker Mayfield is number 2.
Okay.
And I'm going with Vita Vea number 3.
Really?
Yep. And my criteria is if they're out there, who would want them?
Right.
And if Vita Vea is a free agent, you don't see that. You just don't see the 350-pounder that disrupts insides. And I just finished doing my In the Trenches podcast, and I asked for more for Vita Vea, but he still does a lot. But we still need more. And as far as Baker Mayfield goes, listen, I'm not a homer, Jay, by any means. When he got here, I'm like,
You were out on Baker early in his career.
Well, I wasn't out on him. This is what I would say. Why would you think he's good? What has he done?
Right.
And then I watched him play. I'm like, okay. And then the second year, I'm like, well, okay, now, wait a minute now. That's the dude. That's the dude. So I don't say that for nothing. You got to prove it to me. And Baker Mayfield's proved to me that he can play. And it's not up for debate anymore. It's not a debate whether Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. The last 2 years, he's been fantastic. And listen, Tristan Wirfs, whatever. If he's out in the free agent, he make $90 million. I'll give him $90 million. I heard somebody talking about it, and he might be the best lineman in the NFL right now. He might be.
I don't think might be. I think he is. All right. So let me give you some names. So Antoine Winfield Jr., Levante David,
too old.
Mike Evans,
too old.
Hassan Reddick,
unproven from last year. I mean, once again, I'm not dogging Mike Evans, but if Mike Evans was out in the free agent market, not everybody's coming after Mike Evans and his old ass. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but it's real. Levante David is a borderline Hall of Fame football player, but he has liabilities. He does. Mm-hmm. He's not the best cover linebacker. So I'm just talking about your worth outside this team. Right. Inside the team, Levante David is priceless. But you go outside the team, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, we're just talking about talent right now. Yeah, so Baker Mayfield comes right after Tristan Wirfs. Think about that. If I would have told you that when Baker started with this team, that he was going to be as valuable as he is right now, right? If we have this conversation in 2023, and I say, Beck, in 2025, before the season starts, we are going to talk about how valuable Baker Mayfield is. He's a top 10 quarterback, and we spoke about this on the Beckles and Recher podcast. If you miss it every Wednesday, Ian and I are talking over at the Dignitary Cafe. But you and I spoke about this. Baker's a top 7, top 8 quarterback right now. He may be one of the biggest, and Brady's always going to be the biggest free agent signing, but you want to talk about biggest surprise. Like, he's up with there with Marty, right? As far as most surprising free agent signing, probably in Tampa Bay sports history.
Well, I mean, what's crazy is I don't know if I would have believed you, but Baker Mayfield, to me, suits this team. Like, if you said, go out and grab any other quarterback, I don't know if there's 5 quarterbacks I'll go grab. I could think of a few, but if you say Baker Mayfield or Justin Herbert, I go Justin Herbert. And everybody gasses up Justin Herbert. You say, if you even say Baker Mayfield or Jalen Hurts, I'm not sure I keep if I don't keep Baker Mayfield. Because I just think he would suit this offense better than Jalen Hurts would. I'm not saying he's a better quarterback. I'm saying for this organization right now, there's not many picks right now at quarterback that are better than Baker Mayfield for me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think everything that goes with it too, right? The offensive line, the running game, the pat. Just this offense seems to be. We always talk about, like, you look at this team and how proud you are to be a Buccaneers fan. I feel like when you look at this offense for the first time in a really long time, you're looking at a just how are they going to beat you, right? And is this the most complete offense that we've had? Because even back in the day, right, you look at Brad Johnson, what he was able to do, and Tom Brady and what he was able to do, right? The two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Brad was kind of keeping things on the track, made some nice plays, but I don't know. It was the defense that carried the water. We all know that. And then with Tom, as great as Tom was and great as Leonard Fournette was, it wasn't exactly like they were just like dominating and running the football like we saw from last year. This could be one of the more complete offenses we've seen in Buccaneers history.
I think potentially it could be. Mm-hmm. But if you want to compare it to a Brady offense, that wasn't potentially shit. That was it. Okay. Like Gronk Kate Otten's not Gronk. Okay. No. And Mike Evans at his juncture is not a young Mike Evans. Okay. Chris Godwin is not a young Chris Godwin. Then we bring in the young kid, and offensive line wise, I'm gonna say this. I think this is the best offensive line the Bucs ever had. That's right. And that way, I think the Bucs are better. But the rest of it, I can't do it. I don't know if the play caller is anywhere close to Bruce Arians. Right. There's a lot of question marks out there. Not saying they can't be crazy explosive. Bucky Irvin, we don't know what he is. All we did is we saw half of a great season, which we saw with a lot of Buccaneer running backs, but there's not a lot of Buccaneer running backs that have 3 great seasons. So let's see if this kid can fall into the role of an everyday running back before we exalt him anything, because they're anointing him a lot of things already, and he ain't caught a lot of licks yet, man. That running back, you got to catch licks before I think you're anything.
So what's your biggest hesitation for this Buccaneer offense going into 2025? Is it the play caller or the running back? What do you think? Or the health of the wide receivers too, because that's another thing. Chris Godwin's banged up. We don't know what his status is like going forward. Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, you have a second year and a first year guy to go with Mike Evans. We know there's another year on the tires for Mike Evans. What concerns you the most about the offense?
Well, everybody you brought up has a question mark on him. For me, okay, Mike Evans has a question mark. I mean, I've been doing it for 3-4 years, but it's still a question mark. I mean, he's still getting on. Chris Godwin has a question mark because of the injury. Egbuka, whatever his name is, he has a question mark because he never played an NFL game. Jalen McMillan, I think, was great in what he did last year, but he can't carry an offense. Kate Otten has a question mark, and so there's a lot of question marks out there. Bucky Irvin has a question mark. Like, Rashad doesn't have a question mark. There's, like, back in the day, those running backs didn't have question marks. We knew what they were. We don't know what these guys are. That could be good too, Jay. Mm-hmm. That could be good too, because we don't know what Bucky Irvin is. He can be a 2,000-yard rusher. That's a possibility, but we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting because I think it's good problems to have, because I think you're not wondering if this guy can perform at that high level. You're more looking at if a guy can sustain that high level, which is a good problem to have, because at least there's some type of proof of concept. We're hanging out with the great Tony Mayberry yesterday, and we look at him and looking at some of his statistics. We got to continue to fight the good fight to try to get Tony Mayberry in the Ring of Honor. Why do you think that he's not in there after 3 Pro Bowls and being in there for, playing as many games as he did for this team, playing as many snaps as he did for this team?
Politics and it's not sexy. Yeah. He wasn't really part of that winning era, although he definitely got it jump started. Listen, I pretty much played in obscurity. I mean, nobody knew anything going on because we didn't win. No, we weren't on television. Nobody was watching us, okay? So a lot of what Tony Mayberry did, a lot what Ian Beckles did, a lot of the beginning of what Paul Gruber did, nobody really watched, okay? Nobody really appreciated it. Paul got a lot more appreciation than Tony did because Paul came in as a first rounder. Mm-hmm. Tony came in as a 4th rounder. He didn't have all the fanfare. If you put Tony's film against Paul's film, Tony's holding his own. Mm-hmm. And he went to more Pro Bowls. So there's got to be a criteria of the Ring of Honor, and Tony definitely hits all the criteria. And I've hit Brian Ford up. I go, hey, can you explain to me why Tony Mayberry's not in the Ring of Honor? And he didn't even answer me. So, I guess it's not a sexy enough pick.
Who else do you look at and thinks that they have earned the right? Because I don't like the word deserve, but
Yeah.
Who else do you think has earned the right to be in the Buccaneers Ring of Honor? Because you've known the history of this team for so long.
Anybody who I thought maybe it was slight. I mean, I think Simeon Rice will get in eventually.
This year.
Yeah. Martin Gramatica, I think, should be in.
Right.
If you talk about, the lore of the Buccaneers, I don't think you can talk on the Buccaneers without Martin Gramatica being mentioned. So I would definitely say Martin. And other than that, yeah, I mean, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the franchise, and it'll be interesting to see the top 50 Buccaneer list that comes out because once you get past a certain, you start looking back, and some of these years when those records, a lot of 5-11s, man, a lot of 6-10s. I saw you posted a video yesterday of you cleaning the clock of one Bill Romanowski. Tell us about that video.
Yeah, that was somebody asked me what was a highlight of my career. That was one of the highlights of my career. That was the Philadelphia game. The for who for what game? You remember that when Ricky Waters short armed that ball, and somebody said, "Why didn't you lay up for the ball?" And he said, "For who for what?" Well, that was that game, and we trounced Philadelphia, and we were on the sideline and we were up in the game, and Sam White, and this was his first year, I believe. Sam White said, "Anybody have a play?" No, it's his second year. Anybody have a play? I said, "Run 16 tag. I'm gonna get a block. So let's run it." And he says, "All right, I'm watching you." So now I'm on the field thinking my head coach is watching me. All right. Mm-hmm. So I brought the lunch pail, all of it. I brought it all from underneath, from the sole. And I got Romo right under his chin, and he wasn't ready for all that ass coming at him, and kind of popped him up a little bit. And I played in the NFL for quite a few years. You don't get hits on linebackers like that.
You don't get too many, huh?
Nah, you don't hit linebackers on their back too. I did it a few times. I did it more than most. But you just don't see a lot of linemen uncoiling on linebackers like that. And I made sure to tag Bill Romanowski, too, because I want to hear what he has to say about my nuts and how my nuts taste on his chin.
So would you say that's your best block in your career?
No. It was probably the most high profile. I got a game ball for it.
Oh.
The most high profile one. I put Reggie White on his back one time. I put Mike Singletary on their back. And when I say on your back, I don't mean tripped on nobody. I mean, I put them on their back. And after I put Reggie on his back, I almost got up and apologized. It was the weirdest thing because as I'm dumping him, like he's looking at me like I shouldn't be doing it. And as I dump him, like usually I get on copy and grind it a little bit. Like I literally popped off and started walking around. He goes, that was bullcrap. And I was like, that was clean, Reggie. That was clean. And he was hot. And Mike Singletary put him on his back, and I ended up on top of him. He had those big eyes. So he had those big eyes staring at me. He started kicking me. He goes, "Get the fuck off me." And he hunted me the rest of the game. He was not happy because guys like that, they don't want to be on their back. They have so much pride. I mean, we all had pride.
Here we go. Here is the let's watch it together here. I looked it up on Instagram. Here it is.
Watch the right guard. Bill Romanowski. Nuts on chin.
Put your bitch ass.
Yeah.
Let's show it again here.
You know what's disrespectful about it, Jay? If you listen to the broadcast on the television.
Here we go.
Bill Romanowski. Nuts on chin. Yeah.
On the broadcast, they called me. They showed the left guard. They called me Guy McIntyre. And Guy McIntyre was on the Eagles. So, I mean, that's the kind of disrespect I got, Jay.
I wanted to ask you this because I saw a video today from Tom Brady, and he was mentioning how when you are a top-tier athlete that you can't – it's not about smiles. He's like, you didn't see many smiley faces from Michael Jordan. You didn't see that from Kobe Bryant. You didn't see that from Tiger Woods. And he mentioned how he was like, Tiger wasn't out there to make friends. I went out to dinner 2 times in 23 years with Peyton Manning. I loved everything about him, loved his game, but I wasn't trying to be friendly with him. Did you have that same mindset when you were playing, and do you see less of that mindset today between professional athletes?
I can't answer for everybody because I'm not in those locker rooms, and like we can pretend, but nobody could know how I was before the game unless you were there. You know what I mean? And
how were you?
I've had teammates say to me, "How do you get like that?" And I was like what? They're like, like you get. And I understand what they're saying, but that's just the way. I like when it's game time. I'm different. I don't like nobody no more. Like I have a good time, even in warm-ups. I have a good time and I joke around. I don't really try in warm-ups and I grab acid and joking around. But once the national anthem comes, I flip. And then I don't like everybody. Like I don't like the guy on the other side. When I watch film, I get to the point where I'm fearful of the guy. Like
Really?
Steve Everett, my center in Philadelphia, one day he goes, "You're gonna kick the crap out of this dude. This guy's terrible." I go, "No, you gotta watch." But he goes, "Get the fuck out of here." He goes, "You're gonna kill that guy." And he goes, "You do that to yourself." And I think I do it to myself too. I watch so much film. I think you have to be fearful. Okay, if you're not scared, you don't prepare as well. So I watch so much film where I think, well, maybe this will get me with this, and I like over preparing. I like to be over prepared, and not everybody's like that. Some people are all nice and joyful uh, and they're smiley. Now that being said, Rob Taylor said to me, a guy I played next to for a couple of years. He said he sold his son. He said, "Hey, this is Ian Beckles. I'd never played with anybody who enjoyed to play as much as him." And I don't think I understood what he meant at first because I wasn't joyous on the field.
You weren't happy-go-lucky, yeah.
No, but I did enjoy being out there. That's for sure.
Do you think that players nowadays, from what you've seen, maybe from afar, that they don't have that same type of mentality? Maybe not in football, maybe some other sports. Like, obviously, I think the easiest example is probably the NBA, where in the 90s, you're looking at everybody beating the crap out of each other, and now everybody's dapping each other up, and it's just a different world. Do you see that in football at all, or is it? I mean, because it's such a physical sport, but do you see that at all? There are examples that come to mind. I mean, Gerald McCoy is one guy that people still to this day, they'll hold that against him because he was, picking people up and he didn't play that same type of kind of, tenacity or, oh, I don't care. I don't want to be friends with these type of guys.
Well, what Gerald McCoy was doing would have bothered me in any era. Okay. And I remember when Gerald McCoy was picking people off the ground, and I'm like, you just don't do that. And everybody's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I go, no, you don't know what you're talking about, because I had an offensive line coach in Karl Mock that Charles McCray picked somebody off the ground, and he stopped the film. And he goes, the next MF I see pick somebody off the ground, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to walk on the field and cut you myself. And he goes, how the hell you want to pick somebody up you're trying to kill? I don't. And then from that point on, I got it. That's not your friend. After the game, I'm going to shake your hand, say, good job, buddy. That's respect. But during the game, I'm going to try to embarrass you. So not everybody has that mentality. They don't. It kind of has to be instilled in you. And I think it's kind of an innate thing, too. There's like, if you said to me, Tristan Wirfs, what does he have to improve at? He could be meaner. I want to see Tristan. You should go watch Tony Baselli play. Go watch John Runyon play. They play mean. They're not as good as Tristan Wirfs, but they were wicked, wicked mean. So he has ability to even get, and that's what I would say to him if I saw him. I go, get meaner, dog. Put somebody's face in the ground and let people know that it's going to be a long, long day. And it's a long day anyways because you ain't going to touch the quarterback, but punish them a little bit while you're doing it.
I was going to ask if there's any negative to that. Is there any bad side about that? And I think the answer to that question is probably Ryan Jensen, right? I mean, he was the habitual line stepper for the do you agree with that sentiment that he's kind of the guy that with Jameis, it was, well, he's over the line. But with Tom Brady, it was kind of, and of course you're going to get officiated a little bit differently with Jameis as Tom Brady. It's just nature of the beast, right? But it just seemed like there were people worried about the future of Ryan Jensen with the Buccaneers when he was with Jameis, but when it was with Tom Brady, it was like, that's exactly the type of guy you need. That's the kind of tenacity that you need from your center.
Well, Jay, I always like Ryan Jensen.
Yeah.
Okay, from day one. Everybody's like, it gets too many penalties. I said, you need to relax, and because you need that. Okay.
Yeah.
And what happens is when one guy's playing ballistically, sometimes it shows. If 5 guys are playing ballistic, you're just going to blend in, okay? Mm-hmm. So what happened was Ryan Jensen was playing a certain way, and maybe everybody else kind of came along and started playing that way. And Ryan Jensen got a couple of penalties here, a couple of penalties there. That's good, okay? Like when something goes down, And I think I was just saying, like, you could go back and watch any of the Buccaneer film from back in the day when there was a to-do. 62 was there. I mean, that's just not, but that's not everybody, though. Like, Paul Gruber walked the other way. Tony Mayberry didn't fight nobody, but you got to have a couple of guys that are a little off. I don't know if I was off, but Tony likes to call me like the fight guy, and I wasn't in that many fights, but I was, I was known to throw hands every once in a while. Listen, I wasn't a first-round pick. I had to not be that guy, and I had to prove my worth. So sometimes you got to throw hands.
You got to do it. You got to do it when the when the bell rings. Somebody's got to step up to the plate. What's going on over there at the Dignitary Cafe, my friend?
Same old, doing our thing, serving the best kava and kratom in the South Tap area, actually in the world. Not to brag. And our girl Sandy will be back Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
And football season is right around the corner. So if you're looking for a cool place to watch football with some cool people, Sandy's going to be here with her food, and it's going to be the place to watch it. If you're into the 420, we're 420 friendly back here as where we're sitting.
That's right. So make sure you go check it out. 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard, Kava, Kratom. The pool table is really nice as well, and a lot of cool vibes over there at the Dignitary Cafe. Make sure you tune in to the Beckles and Recher podcast this Wednesday. We'll be live from the Dignitary Cafe as well, and follow Ian_Beckles, or just look him up. 1994 leader in fumble coverage for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Are you going to any Buccaneeer practices? Nathan wants to know. I'm going to answer that question. Hell to the no. Way too hot.
No, that's not true. I don't know. Jay, you know me. If
it's hot.
Jay,
hot for me.
No, but if you can help, because I swear to God, Jay, I'm not in the loop. Like, I don't know when the practices are, so nobody texts me, nobody emails me. So if you can let me know, like, say, hey, I'm going this day, I'll come hang out with you. But, like, I don't get invited to stuff, dog. I'm that guy, you know what I mean?
They don't want no part of you there, huh? Well, Tony gets invited to everything.
I'm a good guy.
He's a decent guy. Go check him out.
Tony's a company man. Him, Mark Royals, too. They're both company.
Tony, Mark Rolls, and Martin Gramatica.
Oh, that's a trio of company.
Yeah. All right, Beck. I appreciate you, buddy. Let's see you Wednesday.
All right, playboy.
All right, man.